This is Jilliana Ranicar-Breese, and I'm here at the Hilton Hotel in Laguito, which is an area of Cartagena. And I'm with Lucero, who is a writer. Well, actually, she is or was a journalist, originally from Cali. But you've lived in Cartagena, haven't you? You said for 4 years? When was that? When was that?
I used to live in Cartagena. I spent almost 4 years. I left Cartagena 2 years ago. So,
why did you leave Cartagena? Any particular reason?
There was no reason.
No, you just left. You came and you went.
Yes, I used to live in Bogota first.
Yes.
Several years, and one day I decided to come here for some reason that I don't know exactly.
Okay.
And one of the ideas that I had when I decided to come here, it was to know the Palenque.
Okay, hold on a minute. So you trained as a journalist, right?
Right.
Were you with a newspaper or magazine?
Both. I used to work in newspapers and magazines, newspapers like El Tiempo, magazines. I published some contributions to a magazine like Don Juan, where it's a product of El Tiempo editorial
Was this
house.
in Bogota or Cali?
This is in Bogota.
Okay, okay.
Credencial, I have some articles in Credencial, Carrusel, Playboy, Rolling Stone.
That's a bit of a
and a
contrast.
special covering in The Guardian in England.
In England. And you're about to get married to an Englishman, in fact. And how did you meet him? Is he also connected with writing or journalism?
Yeah, but not directly. He used to work in Associate Press, but not directly as a journalism. It was more in develop of statistics or products for internet online.
Okay.
To launch, and specifically about sports. We met here by coincidence. I was leaving the city 48 hours before I left.
Right.
And he came here by coincidence. It was not the plan to visit Colombia. Were coming through Central America, and his friends convinced him to come
to Cartagena.
Exactly, and we crossed.
Romance at the fort.
Exactly.
Now tell me, you mentioned Palenque, and of course most people won't know what Palenque is. Palenque is it's a village, isn't it, or is it a little town?
It's a small village.
It's a small village, and it's got its own patois, Creole patois, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Language.
Is their language is they speak Spanish or Castellano, and they have their own language Palenquera,
yes,
which is a mix between some structures and words from Bantu family, linguistic family, and Castellano.
When you say Bantu, you mean in Africa?
Yes.
Right. So it's connected, of course, with the slave trade. So you're saying that the original slaves during the time of the conquistadores were Bantus. Is that correct? Did I understand that?
No, sorry.
No, I didn't get that.
Could you?
The origin of the slaves.
Yes.
During the time of the conquistadores,
yes,
they were coming from Africa.
Yes.
I don't know where the Bantus come from. Where do they come from?
Wow, this is interesting.
Which part of Africa?
That is a utopic goal for this community to get what is exactly the point where they are coming from Africa. For some researchers, it was an utopia because Cartagena used to be like a Babel tower of Babel, many language, because slaves came here from all over, especially the west of Africa. You know how huge is Africa.
Right.
However, through the language or ethno-linguistas researching, it was possible to find something that surprised the scientific word about the origin specific of this community after 300 years.
Right. Well, when you gave the lecture the other evening, we spoke to one of the musicians who is from Palenque, and he said that he had been to Senegal, and when he spoke Palenque, or Palenquero,
Exactly.
they understood him. Did you know that?
No.
Oh, yeah. They both the guys went.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
say.
that were talking at your lecture, and they said, well, one of them, the one in the Senegalese shirt, which is how, because we commented on how nice his shirt was, and he proudly said he'd bought it in Senegal, and they'd understood his patois.
They say so.
Yeah,
They have the
yeah.
idealistic idea that they, wherever in Africa they go, they will be understood. However, it's not exactly, but that is the magician of the book of their stories.
Let's see the cover of your book, because it's got a wonderful photo. Right. How long did it take you to write this book? To do the research and then write the book?
About
Sueño Africano is the African dream, yes?
Yeah, it takes almost 4 years.
4 years.
Yes.
And you were doing research.
Yes.
And where were you doing the research? Was it here in Cartagena?
Yeah, books, reference from historiadores, people who...
Historians.
Exactly. Ethnolinguistics, but my first source is the people, is the testimonies. This is the most important for me, because I was not pretending to make another academic book.
So it's oral history.
Yeah, exactly.
You went to the village and you spoke to
Many
various
times.
people and got their stories, yes?
Exactly.
Yes, it's oral history.
Exactly. So when I was looking for some specific date or some context about what I was writing, I go to a book in particular or a person to make it accurate. And that's it. But my first source is people. Is to sit
So
down.
how many people did you interview? Roughly.
I don't know, about 12, 13.
Were they happy to be? Did they welcome you? Because you'd shown an interest in their culture, or were they sort of suspicious? What was their reaction?
Well, the reaction, it was very positive, very open, flexible, because I don't know if because of that, but my approaching, it was step by step, very with all my respect, and first like in a informal treatment, drinking together, eating together.
Were they
something.
older people you interviewed? The older generation?
Some are. There are several generations, 3 generations. This is a younger generation.
Uh-huh.
There are 2 musicians. They make rap very with, of course, an American influence or North American influence, but trying to make it in their own language.
Right.
All musicians as well.
Uh-huh. Do they have their own kind of music influenced by African music?
Yes, totally.
Okay.
They know a lot about African music, about soukous, and they had their own music called champeta. What is
Champeta?
Has a big influence from.
It's a pity we couldn't hear some champeta. Okay, well, we'll talk more about the music in part 2. Thank you very much.